Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, which all of us do, you've got to get DirecTV. Again, immediately following tonight's race, a sneak peek of Bull Run. Now, the premiere is next Thursday with Bill Goldberg. He's going to take 12 teams on a high-stakes road trip, but you will get a sneak peek tonight, right after this race, of what it's all about.
I'm not going to miss it. I'll guarantee you that.
I tell you, it is really, really cool. They've got one episode that I think you're going to see tonight where the competition after the race is over, they've got to try to shoot at a bus and then also hit poles while they're driving down pit road. And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable.
Hey,
we're
getting ready to restart this race now. We're going to have 16 laps to go when we restart this race. I'm telling you folks at home, put your helmets on. Back away from the television. You haven't seen anything yet.
And if you got a Hans, I'm thinking a Hans device is not a bad idea either. Go ahead and put that baby on as well.
J.R. Fitzpatrick, yes, it's a rookie stripe on the back of that truck. Adam Alexander, what are they talking about?
There's one word in the pit of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Butch Hilton, the crew chief, said focus, focus, focus. We need a restart just like we got last time. He is the leader and will take the green flag as that with 16 laps to go, Ray.
And Kyle Busch has a little game plan down here, believe it or not, Adam. He remembers that race the other day in the Gatorade Duel 150, and he had a plan that day. Well, you remember he was down at the bottom most of the day until that last lap. I think it's a similar plan for the 51. He's got his sights on J.R. Fitzpatrick. If I were in the 7, I might be a little worried. Adam?
Running 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now, Ray, are the 30 of Todd Bodine, the 6 of Colin Brown, and also the 5 of Mike Skinner. Tracy Shawyer is one of the crew members for Colin Brown. He's been running up and down the pit lane, going to both the 30 pit of Todd Bodine and the 5 of Mike Skinner. They are pleading for drafting help. Mike Beam, the crew chief for young Colin Brown, said you aren't going to get to the front unless you've got a friend. We don't know how those conversations went, but I think the story's going to be told on track here in just a couple of minutes.
And it's getting ready to heat up. As we mentioned, when they come across the line, 16 laps of racing is all that remains. Green flag back in the air. Here comes J.R. Fitzpatrick.
He wants to get a good start here. Keep that 51 truck behind him till they get up to speed.
I think on that last restart, we saw Kyle Busch decide that the way he was going to win this race was to push J.R. Fitzpatrick around in the lead, be positioned to jump on him on that last lap. Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday, some of those guys in the back of the pack had a different plan. They had to get there right now. Be interesting to see what unfolds.
And again, remember, we started with a single file restart. That's all 3 series of NASCAR are doing that inside of 20 laps. It'll be a single file restart.
Those guys running 4th, 5th, and 6th. There you see, Hornaday's already up there. They can't win from back there.
You got to make something happen.
So they're going to try to get in position to win this race, and it means they got to go on the high side and try to make some ground.
Yeah, Hornaday pulls to the outside of Terry Cook. He has some help with him now.
Let's see who else moves out there.
Brian Scott went with him. It didn't work that time, though. Hornaday's going to try it again. I'll guarantee you. He's going to tuck back in behind Terry Cook, let him pull him back up, and then shoot to the outside again.
J.R. Fitzpatrick. This is the first Truck Series race he's ever led in his career. And it's Daytona International Speedway, the biggest race of the year.
And he's doing it on older tires. So he's obviously got a really good handling truck. He's done an excellent job all night long. That move he made down in the infield to miss that wreck was incredible. If he could parlay that into a win, this would be the biggest night of that kid's life.
He might not know it, but his career best is 21st at Martinsville, and he's in front of the pack at Daytona.
Can you imagine this kid there? Remember, he was Canada's youngest champion. Can you imagine when he was running races at Cayuga and places like that, thinking about leading this truck race with an inside 15 laps to go?
14 to go now as they cross the stripe. Kyle Busch still just waiting, lurking back there behind J.R. Fitzpatrick. When will he decide to make the move?
They're making a little progress. You can see Hornaday's got Crafton and Timothy Peters. They've been able to stabilize out next to
Brian Scott,
and gaining on Terry Cook. But they again, they'll make some ground here, and in a minute, Skinner will decide, man, I can't win from 5th. I got to get up.
Brian Scott, look at the run Brian Scott has.
A huge run Brian Scott had there, and he makes the move on the outside. Let's see if Hornaday is able to stay with him and work with him. Todd Bodine creeps up the racetrack to get in front of Brian Scott. Could this be the good luck that Brian Scott has been waiting for all weekend?
And that's why these trucks are so fun to watch here at Daytona.
Todd Bodine was just waiting for that to happen.
We're still coming with you.
That inside line moving a bit now, but now you've got more trucks out there on the outside. Here comes J.R. Fitzpatrick. He stays on the outside, and inside it's Colin Brown making the move. He takes over the point.
He's got Mike Skinner with him. Look at all the damage to Skinner's truck from that earlier incident.
Fitzpatrick has got to hang on because he is losing the back end of that truck.
I mentioned he has a little bit older tires, and when you have a little bit older tires, it's not going to handle as good on top.
There goes Todd.
You can get around the bottom with it, but when you get up in the middle of the track, other trucks around you, it's a handful, and we saw that off turn 2.
Comes Todd and Hornaday on the outside. Skinner's going to pull up to try to cut them off a little bit. Terry Cook now battling for 3rd with Todd Bodine.
Now you see, Kyle Busch had a plan. He was going to ride right behind J.R. Fitzpatrick, but Todd Bodine and those guys didn't care about that.
Well, Colin Brown stayed on the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's out in front of this field. Ray Dunlap.
And guys, Hornaday had a plan too. He was going to duck in behind Terry Cook. He knows how good that 25 is, but when Todd went to the high side, Hornaday sucked out there with him. It's amazing. These guys talking on the radio with their spotters, they have a plan, but a half a lap later, it doesn't matter.
Boy, action is picking up now.
It is heating up as we're closing in on the final 10 laps of this race. There's Brian Scott moving up again in that 16, right on the back bumper, the 5 of Mike Skinner.
Skinner saying, somebody pull out, and Matt Crafton does. You can see Brian Scott, he's up on the high side too. It gives Skinner something to draft up on. He's pulling up toward Crafton.
How about Terry Cook right now running 2nd, side by side with Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine coming up on the outside. Does he have the momentum? Doesn't look as though he's going to be able to catch that 6.
Boy, Kyle Busch is just thinking about making it 3 wide on the inside.
Kyle Busch all over the back bumper, that 25 of Terry Cook. Terry Cook trying to hold on to that position.
Remember, that truck of Terry Cook has won here 3 times for Bobby Hamilton Racing as a Dodge.
And it's been in every race in Daytona.
The Freak is what it's called, and it's getting a little freaky here on Friday, the 13th at Daytona International Speedway.
What a great battle right here. Side by side for the lead. Colin Brown the 6th, Todd Bodine in the 30.
Todd Bodine looks like he had a run, but he doesn't have any help behind him to keep that momentum up. Now, moving out there, it looked as though Terry Cook was going to take a look, and as soon as he did it, Kyle Busch takes advantage and takes the spot away.
That truck of Terry Cook's got loose coming off the 4th turn. He lost his grip on the bottom of the racetrack, and look what it cost him, Phil.
Yeah,
sitting there riding in the 2nd or 3rd spot. He's going to go all the way to the back of this pack.
Yeah, he's right in the middle now with no help. They're passing him. Ooh, look at that little run he had through the center of the corner.
Side drafting off those guys. He wants to get back to the bottom, I bet.
Did anybody notice that Matt Crafton just moved into 2nd?
Is that the same Matt Crafton that's went to the back 2 or 3 times?
Exactly. Matt Crafton now up into 2nd.
He exercised his option to go to the back for a little while.
He's got an option now of racing for the lead here at Daytona.
He's up high on the racetrack. Kyle Busch will look underneath him. He's able to close the door on Kyle.
Colin Brown gave Kyle Busch an opening, and Kyle Busch took it and moved up into 3rd.
Terry Cook now is lined up behind Kyle Busch. They're going to try to drive by Colin Brown. Ooh, look to the took a peek to the outside of Matt Crafton. Didn't go. Now he's on the inside.
Michael, is Todd Bodine a sitting duck out there right now?
He is, Rick, but the thing that can work in his favor
51's on your buffer.
is everybody knows how important it is to get up to the back of Todd Bodine. They're going to battle to get behind him, and if they start battling each other,
Oh, problems, debris on the racetrack. That's going to bring a caution out as we have just 9 laps of racing to go. It's going to be a sprint to the finish, guys.
I needed a breather. I'm glad the caution's out.
By the way, Chad McCumbee is not going to get the Aaron's lucky dog.
We're inside of 10 laps
We're
to go.
inside of 10 laps to go.
we did all we could do, Rick.
He was poised for it, but he won't get it. Now, it will be just a dash to the finish.
What I was saying is what would be Todd Bodine's best friend would be if those guys all got to racing for a second. It would set him free, but I don't like his chances right now. What a great crowd. And you see why. You see all the action? That's what these fans are here for. What a great night in Daytona.
They want to see side-by-side racing, and that's exactly what they're getting here. in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.